Hi, I'm Rob Warburton. I farm 40 kilometres southwest of Kojana in Western Australia. We farm wheat, canola, barley. We run merino and Sam sheep in a self-replacing ewe flock. Our rainfall is about 550 mils, a Mediterranean climate, so it rains between May and October every year, of which we get about 450 mils in that rain zone and about 100 mils outside of that.
Seasonal variability is the real killer. So it's the fluctuations between years that makes business in farming really hard. So one of the big things we have always tried to do, and that is take out the fluctuations, whether that be big fluctuations on the downside, or even while we don't take the fluctuations out on the top side of things. They're the years that we can really make the money and get ahead. But it's certainly more importantly being in a position when those events occur to be there, to be ready and make the most of it.
And is that be it summer rain, winter rain, autumn rain, spring rain?
That's right. So it's about looking through a whole production year, all year, and saying if we get some summer rain, it's all about the opportunity that summer rain could bring us later in the season. And this year is one of those seasons where we've had 80 mils in January. We've been very particular about keeping that moisture in the soil, and on that we've been able to do some seeding even now that we've had very little rain. So it's those sorts of things that can make a big difference in a year, between years. And so last year was the same. We had some subsoil moisture. It's been able to get the canola in late April, early May, even though there's been no rain, and get it up out of the ground. So when it finally does come, you've already got a crop. And so it's about minimising the downside, using the opportunities that nature can sometimes give you to try and maximise your returns.
Tell us about how you've been managing the typical early winter feed gap.
Certainly for the last 10 to 15 years, we've been very aggressive in trying to keep the stock as much as we can off our pastures. So those paddocks that are going to go into pasture the following year, we certainly try and keep the stock off them. So the soil's in a very good position that when it rains, it's got cover, it's got a fair amount of organic matter. So when we get those opening rains, it springs away very quickly, because it's that early feed that can really make a difference in a season. And also not stocking the pastures too early in the season. So we want to wait a good 2 to 3 weeks until the grass really gets away before we start grazing them, and when we maximise the return we're going to get off the pasture. So it's some of those small tools that we've been using that have really maximised returns for us. And about lambing at the right time, understanding when the feed grows, when it doesn't grow, when you can and can't turn stock off. In our situation, we're not in a position with the stocking rates we run, and we've done the numbers, and it doesn't pay us to try and finish our stock. We just get them to a store position and then sell them on. So recognising what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then trying to maximise that enterprise is really important in any business.
Do you think you're doing it well?
No, I don't think we're doing it the best we can, and that's just a matter of, but that's probably always going to be the case. And I'm one of those people who's always looking to try and do something better. But I think what we do well is manage the downside. When we do have a really bad season, and last year was a bit, particularly bad for everyone, I think it's one of the things we try and do is try and minimise the downside, and that allows us, coming into a season like this, we can still keep investing. And the most important thing, of course, coming out of a bad season is to have a good one. So your business has got to be in a position where you can do that. And a lot of that's got to do with, having the flexibility in the business that you can change. And I'm not one to write a plan on the 1st of January and say, this is what I'm going to do and this is the date I'm going to do it.
This is my budget sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't do that at all. In fact, I don't even budget until late April, because I just don't know what the season is going to do. Very, very flexible. So whether it be the type of crop that I'm going to grow, the number of sheep, all those things are flexible. Basically until the break of the season, when I really know what's going on, everything's in the air. And I guess in many ways I look at it like juggling a whole lot of balls. So, we run a lot of different enterprises. They're all in the air. We're juggling them all. And then where they land, we sort of make up as we go into it. So flexibility is what it's all about. And if we look at things like if climate is going to become more and more variable, then being really flexible is going to be one of the really key important things in any business. Being able to get to a certain point and say, we're not going to do that anymore, we're now going to do this. And to be able to effortlessly just move without having to spend any money or do too much to change it. Just be able to go, right, well, we're no longer going to go aiming the finished market, we're going to go for the store market, we're going to get rid of them by now, we're going to feed them with this. And all those sorts of things. It's being able to crunch those numbers and work things out on the fly, I think, is really important. Now, that's not everyone's cup of tea, but that works for us.